Hey girl, it's Reeg. I'm just calling to let you know that I'm gonna come by your store so that we can talk about the show.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm brushing my teeth. All right, so I'm gonna be there in like 5 minutes. I'm like in a super rush today. I got so much to do. So I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Hey.
Hey. How's your
I'm
day?
like, oh my God, I'm running late and I have 10 million things to do. Well, I gotta go see Carly first, and then there's a press conference this morning for the food basket. They got like a really big donation from Playground Poker and Muji Goodleaf. And then from there, I've gotta go to Mohawk Council to interview Martin Laborde about this whole housing issue and the shelter and the homeless. So then after that, we're gonna be talking to some of the neighbors and things like that. And
I gotta go there from here to go to FCK, and we just found out that about the shelter. They're going to do improvements on it right
Yeah.
now. So
that's gonna be like my whole day. So I'm thinking, I think maybe if you wanna do lunch today at the grill.
I was thinking I got some mechanics from our new buses down there right now doing work for us on the buses.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll bring them down there too.
So that's my day. It's gonna be a little crazy.
That's more or less.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is like when I started,
This is how we do news now, is by text.
yeah, this is from the messages. So I started emailing him on Friday, probably like right about lunchtime, and I was like, this education story is breaking and I want to get an interview. It's Friday for next week. So Friday, Monday, Tuesday. And so my last thing with him was that they have no comment because they're seeking, MCK is awaiting an opinion from legal counsel. Further, Chiefs Kirby and Patton both feel it is inappropriate to give any comment at this time. So I asked him back, I'm like, well, is that the comment then? He's like, well, that'll have to do for the moment. So anyways, this is what's going on with the education, and Mohawk Council releases something, the Combined School Committee releases something, and then the Education Center releases something, and now what we're seeing is that election that happened at the Annual General Assembly last week. Now they're like trying to say it's null and void because of all the issues, I guess, that had happened since last week. So there's that. There's also the election issue with Ryan Goodleaf that still hasn't been, actually there's been one press release. I know that Ryan had apparently written a letter to the Mohawk Council along with somebody else, I guess we're gonna find out, but saying that he felt the election was compromised, something to do with the ballots, and that they were inappropriately handled, things like that. So it seems
See, the election
like,
has a budget, right? So then there's an electoral officer who's hired, and they hire their staff. So they must have to set aside enough money in case that the election is, they call up for recount or
right.
or like this, there's a complaint made, so it has to be investigated. So there should be funds left over for that.
Yeah.
And then that also leaves it to be independent. But if the complaint is against the electoral officer, then where does it go?
Hold on.
I don't know if it would be against the electoral officer in this case. It's just saying that the ballots were compromised. So if the ballots were compromised, is it the responsibility of the... Well, everybody would have to be questioned if there is a proper investigation, but who is going to lead it? Again, even there, who usually investigates most things would be, I guess, peacekeepers, but they're, again, another institution of the Mohawk Council.
So, I mean, kind of bringing ourselves back up to date that what's going on. And I've been emailing him and trying to get interviews and set up for this education story. And the same thing with the Education Center. I emailed them yesterday and I was like, I need interviews on this. Like, it's okay to put out press releases and keep informing,
Did you contact the board?
but, Well, he did give me two names, Tina McCumber Stacy and Fawn Deer are going to be handling that. So I said I need something by tomorrow, which was yesterday.
But you can contact them on your own because
Yeah, I'm gonna
they are
contact them
independent.
via
They are.
Facebook.
That is strictly. They're supposed to be, independent from the council.
Anyways, all right, so that's what you're gonna take. You're gonna take the election.
Okay.
All right, let's go there. And I'll stick with education.
Good luck.
Alrighty. We're back. I'll see you later then. Okay.
Okay.
Call me.
Okay.
Or Facebook me.
No problem.
Just in time for the holidays, the Kahnawake Food Basket receives a very generous donation from several Kahnawake businesses. And a press conference was held here in the lobby of the Dewadoni Zakta building to unveil just who is the Secret Santa.
All right, we'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. We have a very nice announcement to make. Moochie Goodleaf, who, as many of you know, was promoting the George Jones show, was of course very upset when the show was canceled because the monies were going to go split between the K103 Improvement Fund and the Cattery Food Basket. And since the show hasn't been, George isn't playing, and there's another show coming, but it's a long ways off, Moochie thought that it was really something important to help give back to the community, and specifically this time of the year, the Cattery Food Basket. So today, Moochie, in collaboration with his good friends at Playground Poker and the Rail Restaurant, is very, very pleased to make an announcement today that he and the Rail and Playground will be donating $10,000 in cash to the Cattery Food Basket.
Thank you. Yeah, that's going to go a long way. We're good for this. Good for 2 months of groceries. It's great. Yeah.
I'm happy to help you guys out though, because I thought you're doing awesome job for the community.
I want to thank you because it's not the first time you're helping us. You've been helping us through the years.
Yeah.
And it helps very much. Like I said, it's 10,000. Our budget is 5,000 a month in groceries right now. And later on, as winter comes on, we're going to have more people coming on, so it's going to go up to like $6,500 at least. With the food we're getting now, and with this, they'll carry us through the summer. Because after January, we hardly receive any food, so we have to go out and buy all the food. So and this is going to help. This is going to help.
Happy to help you. Happy to help you.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank everybody.
How is this going to help the food bank?
Well, it's gonna, like I said, there's this $10,000 that covers 2 months of groceries. Say in the summer, comes June, July, and August, we don't have much food, so we give out vouchers. So the vouchers comes to about $5,000, $6,000, depends because we go from 70 families to 80 in the 80s in the winter. So in the spring, when people go back to work, it drops back to around approximately 70 we stay around. And so this will do 2 months of groceries. So it's a big help. So like now, the food we're collecting from the train and different organizations, it's going to last us till March. So,
Where is it located now?
But I'm at Jacob's Hardware at the end. We're next door to you.
Yeah.
But, Peter Thomas pays for all the rent.
Yeah.
And all we do is pay for electricity, which is minimal, $20, $30 a month.
I have one question. Can you actually cash that check? Or
I have cash right here.
I'll take it across the street.
Do you want me to hold on for that? So here we are at the former Kahnawake Environment Office, where this building hasn't been occupied for the last couple of months. It was used for the electoral office, if you will. But now it seems like there's some work going on in here in preparation for what the Mohawk Council announced earlier this week as a possible shelter for homeless men here in Kahnawake. In this neighborhood, there are a lot of people who are not sure if this project is a go. In fact, we did speak to some of them who did say that there just wasn't enough answers for them to be for this project or against. Right now it seems like they're hoping that it's going to be put on pause as the Mohawk Council releases some more information about what's going on in this building. We did talk to some of the residents, and we also talked to Chief Martin LeBorn from the Mohawk Council to try and get some answers. But hopefully at the end of the day, something's going to come to light, because right now things are still not clear, and some of these residents are, you know, they're hoping for more answers. We haven't had any comment from the Mohawk Council with regards to whether this project has been put on hold for the time being, so we're just going to wait and see, and we'll keep you, the community, updated within the next couple of weeks as things unfold. So here we are at the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake with Chief Martin LeBorn, and we're here to discuss today the initiative that was launched this week by yourself and the Mohawk Council for a shelter in the community that deals with issues in terms of housing and a lack of housing in the community. So Martin, you know, we're trying to get to the bottom of this story. I know that there was a lot of talk and hearsay in the community that it's a halfway house, men's shelter, that there's going to be community members staying there that may or may not be acceptable in society. But, you know, I know that you started this initiative a couple months back. Can you tell me some details, and how did this get started?
Well, it wasn't a couple of months back, it was a couple of years back, because it was brought to my attention that there's community members in this day and age living in unacceptable conditions.
Right.
And I should have did something like this a year ago instead of now, because some of them passed the winters in unacceptable conditions. And this year I says I can't let that happen. So the old environment office was vacant. I tried to get it in the past for emergency shelter for fire victims and whatever, but it was being used. The casino office was there, and I never got a chance to do it. So now that it's vacant, so now I jumped on the opportunity to open it up for at least this winter, a temporary shelter for 4 or 5 community members that are having difficulty in having a place to stay for the winter, a warm place with a good roof over their shoulder. Right. And that's all it is. It's a temporary shelter till we find something, because I have this plan I've been saying on housing, and this is going to fit right into this plan for social housing to help these guys get their own little home. It's not a freebie. It's a place where they can either rent to own or rent, and that's what's coming. So they're going to move from there into these little homes, and we got other plans for women with children. It's always been in my heart and my mind. This is what I want to do in the community, and it's getting done, but it's at a slow pace. Unfortunately, the criteria needs to be changed where we can allow people on social assistance to get into programs that can provide them with a house.
Just for further clarity, I know that you know, obviously some of the names and people on the list or the criteria, there has to be a level of confidentiality, as there would be with any other thing.
Well, that's why I was holding it, being discreet about it. I didn't want to go out there and publish names and everything. These community members are living in the community as it is, and there's no problem, there's nothing, you know. It's just that, unfortunately, okay, maybe I didn't go and tell the neighbors right away, but I didn't have nothing to tell them, because I'm not even sure if the building's going to be set aside for that. So now everything's pointing in that direction, that it is going to be a go. And tonight we're meeting with some of the concerned parents or the concerned neighbors, and I don't think it would be a problem after we meet with them tonight. once they find out who the people are, and they're not who somebody spread rumors about. Unfortunately, we're in Kahnawake at like a Peyton place. Somebody said something and it spreads and it gets worse and
'cause
worse.
I understand that there were some rumors, if you will, going around that there was pedophiles going to be living in there, or there was people who were convicted felons. And could you clear any of that up?
No, that none of that is true. It's not true, and it's unfortunately somebody put that out there. I wish they would get their facts straight before they say or do anything, because it hurts people. Now the people that are supposed to move in, do they really want to move in now because of what's painted, and they're not even has nothing to do with them, whatever they're being accused or somebody's mentioning it. And now these people, maybe they don't want to move in. Already one guy called and says, I don't need this, I'd rather live in my shed.
I mean, I understand that there needs, people expect in Kahnawake a certain level of consultation to happen with the community. Could you tell us why, there was no, I mean, I know you said earlier because of you weren't sure and things like that, but do you think in retrospect that maybe there could have been a little bit more consultation done within the neighborhood?
Yeah, and I'll take full blame for that. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I can't tell you if I'm going to move somebody into your neighborhood. I can't tell you unless I'm sure the building is going to be authorized for that purpose and that use.
Right.
Maybe I didn't go and tell them we may be using it, but I don't want to go there with a may or an if, because I don't live in a what if world. We're going to go there. Okay, the council's going to say, yes, this is what it is. Now we got to go and tell the community, and that was our game plan, my game plan. Okay. So if something went wrong, I take full responsibility for it. But my job as a community leader here is to take care of everybody in this community, whether they're a felon or whatever they are. As long as they're in Kahnawake, my job is to protect their livelihood. I can't accept if something happened to one of these individuals, and it's unacceptable.
Just last to wrap this up, when can we expect a date, or the community expect a date of an opening, or is it just going to be kind of on the down low?
It's not going to be a grand opening. It's not going to be we're going to beat drums.
When will it be? Clearly. But when will it be?
Within a week and a half. Hopefully within a week and a half from today. About that roughly, to see if it's a go. And so far everything, all the lights are green so far. And it's just now the concerns of the neighbors, and we'll be discussing that tonight with them. And I hope it comes out once they're told who they are and what it is. They'll have a different thing. Then after the shelter, after we find proper housing for them, then we can use it maybe for emergency shelter, for fire victims, for whatever,
And where is the budget to run this location coming from?
It's going to come out of the housing budget. I mean, we're going to probably recoup it through, they're going to be paying rent, so it'll be recouped, but then it'll be used for something else.
Well done, and thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right.
So, are you gonna eat lunch or anything like that?
Yeah, after my wife and I are gonna have a bite with Timmy. And,
Yeah. Anyways, so the other day when I was reading your Facebook, I noticed that you were talking a little bit about the possible shelter going up in your neighborhood, and so how did what seems to be the issue within the neighborhood?
Well, it all goes back to last Wednesday, and actually my wife and I were both sick. We both had strep and home, and then I got the MCK communique and I seen it, and it said social housing project or initiative next to the at the old environment office.
Right.
So that's my neighborhood. So I said, well, what is this social housing initiative? Maybe it's a good thing. I didn't have a closed mind, so I said I'll send an email, which I did. I sent it to actually the assistant to the council of chiefs, Sam, and she forwarded it to the appropriate department managers, Alexis Shackleton, and then the chief in charge of the file, Martin LeBourne. So I said thank you to her, and then I forwarded my questions to them. I didn't receive an answer from Martin LeBourne, but I did receive an answer from Alexis, and basically told me I can't tell you anything on it because of confidentiality of the potential people going in there. So of course that raised a lot of red flags, and I said, well, what the heck? And I said, so well, I have a right to know. I'm a community member. You know, my family's been on that land for hundreds of years.
Right, you're all in that same area.
My whole
too,
family
right?
lives in that area.
yeah.
So hey, I'm not gonna go. That wasn't a good enough answer for me. So.
Yeah.
So, you know, I made some phone calls. I called several chiefs that I'm very comfortable with. Carl Horn being one of them, Bobby Patton being another that I've been friends with these guys for many years.
Right.
And I was on the phone actually with Gina Deere yesterday, and just saying like I got no answers here. I need to get some answers. So basically, I was informed that it was being tabled, it was being discussed, and I said, well, when is the community consultation going to happen? When's the neighborhood consultation going to happen? And it appeared like there was none going to happen. So I was not happy. I went to go see my good neighbor, Donnie Gilbert, and said, Donnie, do you know anything about this? You're on the social development committee.
Right, works for community
Yeah,
services.
no,
too,
but
yeah.
he also sits on one of the MCK committees, and I
Okay.
said, you should know about this. Well,
Yeah.
what's this all about?
So what did he say?
He knew nothing. He knew nothing.
Yeah?
It's clearly a political initiative. So I said,
Right.
okay. I said, all right, then if that's what it is, then I'll send it to the appropriate body. So I sent a petition letter. Him and I looked at it, drafted it, my wife and a couple of people, and then we sent it around to the neighborhood. Said, so what do you think? So people started adding questions and concerns, and for me, I don't have a social service background, so some of the questions that they were asking were making me even more concerned, about what the potential uses of this. And there were all kind of rumors that it was going to be a halfway house, and for me, I had to Wikipedia what the heck is a halfway house versus what's
Like what's a shelter, yeah.
What's a shelter? So I looked at and I
Wikipedia.
didn't know what a halfway house was, and then when
Yeah.
I read it, I said, "There's no way in hell." I mean, that the council would allow that to happen.
Because you were concerned that a halfway house is for people who are coming
out of
prison,
prison, and I said
yeah.
that doesn't make sense. So sure enough, that wasn't true. It was
Yeah.
just people that didn't have the terminology. So there was no media on it at all. So we
I had actually talked to Martin, honestly, about it the week prior.
Yeah.
And the way he proposed it to me was that it was going to be a shelter for homeless
Yeah.
men. So I said to him, before I even ever read your post or all this stuff came out on Facebook, I was like, oh, we should do a story on this. And it seemed just really, and then all of a sudden, the shit hit the fan, so, so to speak, excuse me, but you know what I mean? So.
Well, for us, we don't want it to be viewed as, shit hitting the fan kind of thing. We want it to be just some neighbors want some answers.
Well, it didn't come from you, but
No.
it was on Facebook that it was really not a good thing.
It's going to be
Yeah.
not a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So we followed the democratic process, which I hope is alive and well in Ganawage, and we got our meeting yesterday. So
How did that go?
It went okay. I mean, hats off to the chiefs to meet with us on their own time. They accommodated our schedule. I'm very respectful and thankful for that. And
So how did your meeting go, and what came out of it? Did you get the answers that you're
well, we
looking
did the
for?
petition. We did the petition. We sent it to
Okay.
all of them. I actually sent it to Carl, and I gave a copy to Bobby Patton, and they forwarded it to all the chief and council. And I'll give you a copy of it here. But like you
Okay.
can see, there's 30 signatures. Just from the neighborhood, and we said we deserve answers. This is my backyard. This is my neighborhood. These are
Right.
my children that are gonna have these individuals who we know nothing about. Now, when you talk to community members, it can range from, it's a nice old man, great, to oh my God, what if it's a really bad person?
Right.
And I have a job as a father to protect my children first and foremost. Being a good citizen is secondary, and I think everybody, you as a parent, probably agrees on the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, I do try to have an open mind and keep in our culture and our beliefs to look out for elders. Yeah, that's all part of it. But to be consulted, to be given assurances that no, this hypothetical bad type of person will not be in there. We were given no answers, no questions asked, no
So did they say anything yesterday at the meeting, like
At the meeting yesterday, we were given some information
about the people?
about the individuals.
or- okay.
I mean, there were some statements that helped, but there were some statements that didn't help whatsoever.
Like?
You know, well, the first thing was we were told that the project isn't approved, but then, as you can see, I have a press release
press
here.
release, yeah.
That's the first thing says MCK approves new
yeah.
project. So
So how did they spin that? Did they say, oh, we meant it as like at the table, we all agreed that it was an initiative that would move forward, or?
a lot of my neighborhood weren't really happy with the answers, and there's really a trust issue there now. Like
Okay.
they said, well, one person said maybe public relations sent it out prematurely and maybe it wasn't approved, and then it changed to I take responsibility for it, I sent it out. So I mean,
And who was that?
that was Chief LeBorn. He had said
Okay.
that. I said, all that aside, for me, I'm not going to get stuck on semantics.
So
people.
did they approve it or not?
They told us it's approved to the next step. We said, okay, so it's not too late to cancel it. And there was no answers given on that point. It was silent. So we said, okay, instead of us sitting here saying, you guys say we want to do it, and us going, no, 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 because there are some of us, I think some people spoke to Alan Arbor Daibo, who just said no, 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 period. Others saying we want to hear, we want to listen out. I'm one of them that's saying, my wife is not. She's saying no, period. But I'm saying, well, let me hear it out first before I give my final decision.
What is, just let me ask you, like, what is the neighborhood's main concern? Is it that there's homeless people in Kahnawake and you guys don't want homeless people living in your neighborhood? Or is it because of the types of individuals that potentially could be living there that maybe...
One, we weren't consulted. Number one
Okay.
issue is we were not consulted. You have a home, you spend your life saving up for that, you maintain it, it's a home, it's not a house. It's a place where your family lives and you build
you're going to stay
future.
there, especially in Kahnawake.
You build your life, and it's going to be willed to your children. And we have a right to know who is next to us. If it's private land, I know it's different. Like, okay, there's ways to go about it. Usually it goes the legal route and all that. But this is public land. Everybody should have a say on what happens in this project. I didn't see any surveys. I didn't see anything like that, any consultation, just maybe campaigning, like you said, which is great. And like I said, I have all kind of respect for Martin LeBorn, but at the same time, respect has to come to us as well. Ask us, are we okay with this? So that didn't happen, so now shit's not hitting the fan, but we're asking for answers.
Okay.
And one of the suggestions we had was why not put two people from the neighborhood on your selection committee to look at these types of things? Because
Right.
not to say that I don't trust who's going to be on there, I don't even know who's going to be on the selection committee. And say community services, are they even going to be involved? They're saying there's caseworkers and all that. I don't know who these caseworkers are. Maybe it's a non-native caseworker. They don't know the history, and maybe there was never a file put out on this individual saying he's been charged with this. But there's
Yeah.
accusations out there, and family members maybe didn't want to go on the
Go on,
record
yeah.
on it. But we know it's occurred.
Yeah.
So I need some sort of assurances that this individual is not going to be within 50 feet
So
of
it's not
my
really
children.
about the neighborhood not wanting homeless people living in their neighborhood. It's about assuring that it's going to be safe and run efficiently.
Some
Or
it
do
is.
some people just
Some just don't want it. Some just don't want it.
Okay.
Some just don't want it, saying.
Which is fair because
I know some individuals.
people have an opinion.
They have. I've seen it. I think the former executive director of MCK has a plaque on her wall, and I've seen it in some other people. It says that your lack of planning is not my problem. And that's kind of it here. Now all of a sudden it's winter. Let's run around, and this is the only available house. Well, I'm sorry, but that may not be our problem, and maybe we would be supportive of it if it was done the right way. Saying like last summer, you know what, this is something we're looking at.
Yeah.
We just had an election, maybe saying right there, if I get in, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna consult with the neighbors, things like that. But now all of a sudden I get a press release, boom, they're moving in. No, that's not the way democracy works. That's
So
the
where
issue.
does things stand now?
I'm optimistic. I put it there because a lot of the feedback I got, Chief Clinton Phillips was very good in what he said last night, where he told us that they're looking at not only this being temporary, which nobody said that to us, because right away the assumption is, hey, it's there, that's it, it's done, it's a
Yeah.
done deal, and they're gonna be squatters, and they're in there, and that's it. I mean, those are the fears that are going on, and they're
Right.
legitimate. One other thing that we really need to find out is what is the criteria of selection. What kind of background checks are they doing? Are
Yeah.
they do your standard $35 criminal background check, or are they going to go deeper? And our requirements will be, we want a deeper check. We want social services involved to know if there are any violent sexual offenses against these individuals. We need to know, we have a right to know. And if we're not told that, hey, we will do everything we can to stop the project. One answer that we got that was very disturbing, and we're gonna have to dig deeper on this, and we need answers, we deserve answers on it, was we were told that these individuals have worn out their welcome with their families. When there was a question saying, well, how come their families don't take it in? If my mom lost her home, she's in my house, guaranteed.
Yeah, how did
No
they get to
questions
this
asked.
point? Okay.
That's it, that's all. No questions asked. She's in my house because that's what we do in our community. Outside community, that's their problem. But here, I was told that they wore out their welcome. We all looked at each other like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, I can't
It's
go
alarming. It's
I-
alarming.
I can't
Of
go
course.
into that. So we're sitting there, we're like this, like you can't go into that, but yet we're asked to, to welcome them and have soup and say, come on over to my house, and well, not that, but to be welcoming as neighbors and to be respectful. So if they were not welcome, what is it? Maybe.
But you're not 100% sure though, because the names haven't been revealed. And do
No.
you guys feel maybe you're jumping the gun without really knowing everything,
Well-
or they jump the gun too? Like, how does?
You want to talk about jumping the gun? Let's do a release that says it's approved, without consultation. That's jumping the gun. So for us, I mean, there's legitimate concerns. There's some people who in our group that are more calm, and some that are less calm. Some that
Right.
may say, no, I don't trust at all. I don't trust them. This is political. Somebody's out to get votes. I said, well, you know what? I've worked with some of these individuals for a long time, and
From what I understand, there is some guys that are like living in sheds throughout the winter,
Yeah.
and it's not acceptable. And I mean, I'm sure you can understand that.
no, for
like-
sure. I mean, if that is the
But
case,
obviously, there's a bigger issue here.
yeah, and we have a right to know it.
All right, Lou. Well, thanks for coming by,
Yeah, no problem, and you're
being
probably
so open about it.
Yeah, and like I said, there's going to be other opinions from the neighbors, and I suggest you get theirs. They couldn't make it because of lunch
Yeah.
hour and work and that. But for me, I knew that MCK was speaking on this publicly, so I said, okay, well, we need to get on the record too, because we don't want to look like a bunch of snobby upper crust people that don't want vagrants in our neighborhood. That's not it at all. We just
Yeah.
have concerns that we need answered. That's it, that's all.
Alrighty. So, time to eat now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Martin LeBourne told me that this is a go within the next week and a half.
Yeah, well, I want to see them move in when we put our cars here and put up people blocking the way.
Like, you live right across the street. I
Donnie,
mean,
hey,
yeah.
You look how close he is.
Are you against the project, or?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not against housing the people, but
Yeah.
I'm against where it's going to be.
How come?
Who's moving in? Even they don't know. They
Mm-hmm.
said they don't know. They got to have a thing there. They got to screen them and that. So
Yeah.
we don't know who's coming
How long have you lived in this neighborhood?
in. 30 years with Glenda.
Yeah.
So that gives me a right, I guess.
I most certainly would think so.
You know, I'm not against housing
There's
them.
renovation. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not against housing them, but it's the area, and that we weren't told. If you seen that paper, it said Mohawk Council approves before they even called our meeting.
Yeah. And
So
you went
who-
to the meeting last night.
Yeah, who are we?
Yeah.
You know? And I told them there's different ways of doing it. Get those heated trailers, put it up at the independent living or whatever, make the arrangements, and they already have food being served there. You know what I mean? What do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I mean, as a reporter, we try not to get in the middle of stories because, we want to try and be as unbiased as possible. But I think that in my opinion, I did tell Martin that I thought there could have been more consultation within the neighborhood. I think it was a mistake for them not to contact you guys prior.
No, he
But-
said he was gonna, but
Yeah.
only after it was all in place.
But I think if we have a social housing issue, then we need to look at it as the bigger issue is that if there's an issue, then how do we as a community, how do we all work on something together, not just...
The thing is, how
know.
do we have a say if they just go and do what they
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand the point of view from the neighborhood, because if it was my neighborhood, I would want to know more too. As a community member too, I was kind of shocked. But I mean, I think Martin has a good initiative. I just
Sure.
don't know if this location is the best for the people involved.
The only reason why I think they're using it is because it's an available building.
Yeah.
But even
And-
Donnie kind of said last night that it's uninhabitable. There's problems with that and the courthouse. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, well, I
don't
mean,
you
the
think
courthouse
that-
moved because of the mold issue, right?
And here,
yeah,
why did they move?
yeah.
I'm not saying they moved because of a hazard, but it was
I'm not
never taken
100%
over.
sure, yeah. So, I mean, it's still to be determined, right, at this point? It
Well,
seems
to
like
me-
it's a go
Yeah,
to
to
you
me,
guys,
it's like
but
they're gonna go ahead and do it anyway. So
Yeah.
why do we have a council then if they're just gonna do what they want? We shouldn't even go vote anymore because they do what they want. That's
Mm-hmm.
not right. Carl, I take my hat off to Carl. He came to us and told us what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of got mad at him. Why?
well, they're always mad at him for
I
something.
told him last night, I said, maybe some of you, all of you should act like Carl. Do what Carl did. Well, just look at him.
Because the way he conducts himself, it does seem like it's always in the best interest of the people. And I'm not saying that the other chiefs don't conduct themselves that way, but I think he puts himself out there more. He's willing to take risks.
Yeah, but you know, come on now. It wasn't hard. I live here. We speak on other terms about other things. He speaks to other people.
Yeah.
What was so hard about him coming over
Yeah,
and just say, "What do you think? I have this in mind."
yeah.
But the word
And he doesn't live in this neighborhood, so he really didn't have anything to gain from
the
it,
word
right?
approved on that letter they put out.
Was
I
that
didn't-
shocking to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that, Joe Delarome might have made a mistake. So here we go, passing the buck again.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
So we asked, are you going to put a retraction to this? That this is going to be put on hold?
What'd they say?
They didn't say no. Carl said he's tabling a motion Monday to put a delay to it till it's further discussed.
Well, and that's what I came here. I wanted to do the out for this piece and just say that as it stands right now, that this is the old environment office,
Yeah.
and as it stands, we don't know where this is going to go. We don't have the answers either.
The power was hooked up today. Does
Yeah.
that tell you something?
Well, it tells me that they're getting prepared, which
There's
is
a
something
little
that
bit
Martin
of,
had already said.
There's a little bit of movement here, maybe, you know.
Yeah, they're preparing it. I don't know if it's
So
still
what
going to
What
go,
does
but,
that word mean then? What are we here? You
but
know,
this seems
like
to be a big
somebody-
issue in the community lately. People
like
saying, listen,
somebody
we don't
told
want
me,
things.
They said it only takes votes to get in office, not brains.
All right.
Okay?
So with that, of course, you're seeing, we just happened to run into Al Arbor here that lives in the neighborhood. I thought that was really interesting. And the point I was trying to make was wasn't being inhabited, but as Chief Martin LeBourne said, that now they were looking at a time frame of a week and a half when we spoke to him. So we're gonna wait and see what happens. I know it's being tabled for the upcoming council meeting next week, and we'll keep you, the community, posted. As always, we do here on Mohawk TV. So stay tuned. So, come on, buds. Did you have a good day at school? Don't lick your school bag, that's gross. Did you have a good day at school? Yeah. Come, take your shoes and everything off before you go in the house. What do you guys want to do? You want a snack?
Yeah.
What do you want? Take your boots off too, Gracie. Want some cheese?
Or ice cream?
Ice cream before supper? Oh no, I don't think so.
Mommy?
What? You want bear paws?
I almost said freezing.
Yeah, I know. Do you want a bear paw?
Bear paws. I want cereal.
No cereal.
Yes!
Hi.
Why is Jazz and Stone here?
Because they're visiting. Hello, come in.
Yes. Let's go look at when our snowman's up. I'll turn the Christmas tree on.
Your cousins are here. Hey guys.
You wanna go look when the Christmas tree?
We're just filming for one of my shows, so just pretend like the camera is not here. Wow.
Mommy.
Come on. On the banister's fine.
Cute bar express on.
So, what's the daddy gonna get gundaje? Huh? What'd you learn? Tell me.
I want to show Jazz what I got it.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my god, my day is like never ending.
No kidding. I just passed you on the highway.
Really? Oh, I was picking up the kids. Did you pick up your son?
I'm just picking him up now. I saw you when you were closer down the highway.
Oh my god, girl, I can't even
you
tell.
ignored me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love you.
Okay, let me call you back.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I want to talk to you. So, how was school?
Good.
Yeah. What's the daddy gonna get gundaje? Huh? Danu?
Anu. Ahanda Dekwa.
Here, Saja. So, what about my day?
What did you do on your day? I want to go.
Well, let me just tell you. You don't want to hear about my days? Sit down for a second. Just 1 second.
That's just my part.
I know.
That we got it.
Okay, well, hold on. I wanted to tell you something. Guess where I went today?
Where?
So I went on an interview at the Mohawk Council, and I did an interview, and then I answered a bunch of emails, and then I went to a press conference, and then yeah. This is not interesting.
I want to go see Hot. Oh, we got it.
What are you watching?
The Polar Express.
All right, just give me a hug then. I had a tough day. I had a tough day because some people are just not nice. Ugh, it's exhausting.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Kanya ke haga thadi adraste kayerniga hyadu zawaderoru.